Okay, we're going to build another one, another market stall. This one's going to be a covered market stall. And I had this scrap of corrugated paper left that's really crooked. But I'm going to use this to make a sort of surround. And then I'm going to put a roof over it and build like a selling surface in the middle. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out how big it's going to be. I'm going to use a popsicle stick to bend the edges to give me a consistent front to back, consistent-ish. And that's going to provide the stand-up part of the stall. And then I'm going to build a platform. Oop, got paste everywhere. Going to build a platform inside. Maybe shelves. Maybe I'll use some upright popsicle sticks and then build some shelves across here. Yeah, that would work really well. So let's do that. As you can see, plans subject to change in an instant. So we're going to need two good sized upright bits. Because I use popsicle sticks for the measure, I'm going to use them for the sides. So I just take the popsicle stick. I want a little bit of ground clearance. And then mark it by putting the scissors there. And cut it. I think this piece is going to be long enough. Oh, actually just. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly flat on top. I mean, it's all found materials, right? So what I'll probably do is put that bit on the bottom. So to give it some structure, I'm going to glue these on now. Sometimes I put the glue on the part I'm attaching. Sometimes I put the glue on the part that's already there. Generally, it depends on which one requires me to be more precise, if I'm being precise. So, lock that in, and splotch. Make sure it's got a decent angle on it. And same on the other side. Trying not to melt what's left in my hands. Lots of hot glue so it don't come apart, because this is going to get played with. Make sure you put the top in the same side on both sides. Otherwise that would be a bit embarrassing. Line it up. Wipe up the excess. Right, so that gives us a structure that will stand up on its own, kind of, you know, unless you touch it. So we need like a bottom row. And I'm going to use, I'm going to tidy this up a little bit. Got a peak here from my unmeasured cutting. I'm going to actually build it like a real set of shelves. I'm going to take a matchstick and put in a bracket, and then I'm going to put a big popsicle stick shelf over the top of it. So these don't have to be exact. They just have to be smaller than the popsicle stick, which is all gluey here. So even with paper, you can still hit it with your torch and wipe it off. I lost that one I just cut. There we go. And then another one. And a little dash of hot glue. In order to line these up, I'm going to attach them so they're right on the bottom there. Oh, sorry, I'm gluing all the way over there. My bad. Okay, so now we've got two little brackets for a shelf to rest on. Before I put that shelf on, I think I'm going to stiffen this back up a little bit. So I'm going to take some of this, coffee stirrers, and cut to an inexact length. Looks to be about half. And then we're going to put one at the top here. Oh, actually, that needs a little more taken off. It's also got glue all over one end of it. We're going to put one at the top. Oh, I cut too much off. This will happen from time to time. There we go. We're going to put one at the top, one at the bottom, and then I'm going to put a crossbar in the middle, which I guess is going to be this one. Now I'll boogered it up. Oh, got little ghost trails of hot glue everywhere. Just smack a bead on there. line up your piece and smush it all together. There's one. Cut another one of these. As you can see, my measuring is so precise. Check it actually fits. Yeah, a little too long. There we go. Pop that down there. Make sure it's got enough room for those brackets to get in. I should have done this first, really. Oh well. You see, that gives it a lot more rigidity, and then we're going to cut this to an angle and smack it in the middle. Okay, so that'll go, and you cut that angle a little flatter. That'll go. See, now it's too short. I boogered it up. Okay, we'll save that piece for something else. We won't even angle it. We'll put it, we could put it straight up and down at the edges. Yeah, we'll do that. Because I'm not very good at cutting angles. So that needs about a 1/4 inch taken off. There we go, perfect fit. Okay, a little hot glue. Before anybody asks, if you're left-handed, why is your hot glue gun on the right? Because that's where the plug sockets are. No other reason. So I got this one here. And cut it. And see if it fits. If it fits, it gets glued down. No sitting allowed. So you see, we've now got a lot more rigidity in that back structure, which is important if you're going to be playing with this stuff. I mean, if you're just building dioramas, you can afford to make it a bit fragile. But see, that will now sit a bit more box-like and give it some strength. So we're going to put that first shelf in. I'm actually going to do this a little weird. I'm going to cut it. And I think I'm going to glue it in, then cut the next piece. Why, you ask? Because that way it will actually fit. So, pop that in, like so. One nice thing about hot glue is it only takes a few seconds. And then, looks like we're going to need to cut it there. So I made a little mark. Okay, and we see if there's a little bead sticking out proud of the bracket, just heat it up with the tip of the hot gun and it will melt and you can attach it. So that's attached like that. And those two ends would probably give us a pretty good bond on their own. But since it's going to be under the terrain, I'm also going to run a bead to join it along the back. Got to fold your little feet up sometimes for this. Okay, got that in there, and then I'm just going to level it off a bit. And that'll wrap around and bond everything together much stronger. So now we have our basic structure, which falls over, but it's going to be glued down when we put it on a base. Wow, it really does. Oh, it doesn't help this table isn't at all flat. Okay, so while I was waiting for the chipboard to dry, I painted the other side. I was looking at this stall and I realized it's got very low footprint. So I added some little bits in here, but they're kind of high up. So I'm going to put some pillars in the front. I cut these up already. This is made out of a scrap of chipboard and a little piece of granny grating. And that's going to go right in the front here to stabilize it. Probably that way around. And then this one is just a piece of stick. It's going to go in there. And those will basically, won't give me any more places to glue, but they'll give me some pillars in the front for stability. So when somebody slaps their big clumsy hand down on top of this, it doesn't just snap off the base. So we glue that leg in there. I may 3D print or make some stuff. I need to find some like jackets or whatever I could hang up there. And this one, I think I'm actually going to do on the inside, right there. And you know, when you're building random stuff like this, it never hurts to take a look at it and make sure it's actually going to function. So that's in there. I'm actually going to laminate it a little bit with some stick. I seem to be out of regular popsicle sticks, so I'm going to use the big ones. I'll take a little piece like this, which is actually broken because it's too narrow. Pull off the little ghost threads. I'm going to glue it there to get that to the same height as that. And I'm going to take a larger piece. And I'm going to glue it over the top to firm that whole thing together. And it'll give me somewhere to put a sign. So I'm going to put the glue on this piece so that it stays pretty much within the bounds. So smack it on there. Hold it together for a second, let it all set, and that will give us a much more stable leg. And now you can see all four legs will actually make that a lot easier to keep on the base. So while the chipboard is drying, I'm going to clean off some of these threads, maybe clean up some glue and get those stuff ready for basing.